Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Innate immunity or non-specific immunity is the natural resistance with which a person is born. Innate means at the time of the birth, what you get from your mother is an innate immunity. It provides resistance through several physical and chemical and cellular approaches. Chemical microbes first enter the epithelial layer, which is a physical barrier that lines skin and mucous membrane. So microbes cannot enter in your body, but they have to pass through the epithelial layer. If they overcome or penetrate into the epithelial layer, then they reach to skin and mucous membrane. Subsequent general defenses includes secreted chemical signals, cytokines, we call it, antimicrobial substances, fever, phagocytic activity associated with the inflammatory responses, and phagocytes express cell surface receptors that can bind and respond to common molecular pattern expressed on the surface of invading microbes. Through these approaches, innate immunity can prevent the colonization and entry and spread of the microbes. So this immunity protects the colonization of bacteria in your body as well as spread of bacteria in different parts of your body organs or body parts. So this is important. Then we have got another type of immunity which is known as innate adaptive immunity, is often subdivided into two major types depending on how the immunity was introduced. Naturally acquired immunity occurs through the contact with a disease causing agents when the contact was not deliberate, whereas artificial acquired immunity developed only through the deliberate action such as the vaccination. Means we stimulate our immunity through two ways. One is artificial and one is acquired. Acquired means from your surrounding where you are living. Over there, if you are coming in contact with any infective person, infective food or infective environment, then you will acquire that organism, and then when it will enter in your body, then your body will start defend the defense mechanism, and that is an acquired immunity, we call it. We have acquired from the surrounding or environment. But another is artificially, means vaccination, attenuated or non dead, or you have taken out the toxins of those microorganisms. So these artificial means if you will put these dead organisms or toxin removed organism in your body, the body will start producing immune cells against such type of artificially induced into the body antibodies they will produce, and then these antibodies will fight, and we call it vaccination. Both naturally and artificially acquired immunity can be further subdivided depending on whether immunity is induced in the host or passive transferred from an immune host. Means for immune, whether immunity is induced in the host means you have given a vaccination to the patient, which is a dead organism, or passively transferred from an immune host, or you have taken this infection from your neighbors and friends and families and others. Passive immunity is acquired through the transfer of antibodies or activated T cells from an immune host. Means if some of your friend is ill and he has got his body defense mechanism has created certain cells, T cells, or antibodies or activated T cells, then you can transfer. When he will get cured of that, once he has gone through this process of disease, if you take a blood sample and put and take out the antibodies from that blood and put to the body of a patient, that is known as passive immunity. Nowadays in coronavirus, a famous way of treatment is a passive immunity. It means you take the blood donation from the already infected and cured persons. What he when he has cured means his body antibody has killed the antigens, usually lasting only a few months, whereas active immunity is induced in the host itself by antigen lasts much longer, sometimes lifelong. And these were we have just talked about the passive immunity, means infection is produced in another person. And that person has been cured. And in his blood, there are antibodies which is capable of killing the antigens which enter into that patient body. And that now he will become a donor for the blood and he will give the blood to the infected person, and that infected person will get the antibodies donation from the diseased person who was already cured. And that will prevent him to be affected by the infection. Whereas active immunity is induced in the host itself by antigen and lasts much longer, sometimes lifelong. And sometimes you give a vaccination. And that vaccination will, the organism will enter into the body and they are attenuated, non-attenuated, means the toxins have been removed, or they are the kill organism. And they will remain in the body for a long time, like BCG. It will remain for whole life. Once only you give the BCG after the birth, within 7 days, you give an injection of BCG, which is against the tuberculosis. In the same way, nowadays hepatitis vaccine, they are giving to the children also, young children, and they will remain for whole life in your body because they produce antibodies which will remain over there. The diagram below summarizes these division of immunity. Immunity, two types: adaptive immunity, which you adopt from your surrounding, and innate, which comes after the birth from your mother. Then adaptive immunities are two types. Either you adopt from the environment, in that dirty environment where infections are present, like in our poor localities, where hygienic conditions are worse, they adopt, and that is a natural, because they have to survive in that. They have to live with those conditions because of the poverty, unhygienic conditions. This natural immunity, which is acquired from the surrounding, are two types. One is passive. Passive means maternal. You are getting from someone else. This is not produced in the body, immunity. You are taking this immunity from another person who was already infected and then overcome to those organisms which entered his body, and antibodies has been produced, and that antibodies you put to another patient body and take a donation from another person and put it in the infected person. This natural immunity, one is a passive, like in coronavirus nowadays, we are taking donation from those people who are already infected and cured. And another is active infection. When the infection will, in this such type of natural immunity, when infection happens, then your body try to create antibodies. And once it will create antibodies, it will remain forever in your body to protect you for future. And artificial is also passive and active. Artificial immunity means Antibody transfer. You take antibody from one person and give it to the another person. And then there is another type of artificial, where that is immunization or vaccination. Right? So now we talk passive immunity in detail. Passive immunity is the transfer of active immunity in the form of ready-made antibodies from one individual to another. Same thing what I have explained just now, that already infected person from, for example, coronavirus, COVID-19, and he has been cured, and then you can take that person as a donor. He will give his blood, which has got an antibody which already overcome the viral infection. So you can give it to another person who has got a COVID infection. We call it passive. Means taking help from another person. Passive immunity can occur naturally when maternal antibodies are transferred to the fetus through the placenta, and can be induced artificially when high level of human or horse antibodies specific for a pathogen or toxins are transferred to non-immune individuals. One example, passive immunity, if the child, when it is in the amniotic sac, in the uterus of a mother during pregnancy, that fetus, if mother get infected, the body will produce immunoglobulin M, and that immunoglobulin M will transfer in fetus also. So fetus in future won't get that disease. And we call it passive because taken from the mother through placenta. And can also be induced, for example, DPT, diphtheria, pertussis, and tetanus vaccination. We give to the patient, to that child after the birth, after 1 month, DPT, diphtheria, pertussis, and tetanus. And these attenuated and non-attenuated microorganisms introduced in the body of the child, and then the child body will produce an antibody against that. And we call it passive immunity, but this is an artificial. Or you put the microorganism in horse, and from in the horse immune system will produce antibody against those microorganisms, and then you take the serum of micro or the horse and make a vaccine out of that and put it in the human beings to overcome the pathogens and toxins. Passive immunity is used when there is a high risk of the infection and insufficient time for the body to develop its own immune response or to reduce the symptom of ongoing or immunosuppressive diseases. Means passive immunization we use because the body of the patient is not having a sufficient immune strong systems to overcome the infection. Then we take help from the another person who has already suffered from that infection and cured. Means the body has already produced antibodies and we take from them. So we give a high risk of infections, insufficient time. Means there is an infection and there is an insufficient time. You have used antibiotics, you have used anti-inflammatories, but the patient is not cured. What to do now? Now you will go for immunoglobulin, IgG, and you give about 10 infusions of immunoglobulin to the patient because his immune system is not fighting against those infections which has attack on patients, that patient. So immune passive immunity provides immediate protection. It's like a IV injection. You give IM or oral dose when you have a time. When the patient will come in emergency, you will give IV injection. It will just achieve the peak. So in the same way, you give direct antibodies, not dependent on the patient own immune system, but you give from the patient already suffered and fight against those organisms when that patient has got antibodies which are capable to overcome those antigens. And you take the donation from them and give it to the patient. Natural acquired passive immunity, naturally which acquired maternal passive immunity, माँ से जो ली जाती है, is a type of naturally acquired passive immunity and referred to the antibodies mediated immunity conveyed to a fetus by its mother. माँ से जो लेता है उसको हम कहते हैं natural acquired passive immunity. Maternal antibodies, MATAB, are passes through the placenta to the fetus. There is a connection between the mother and that fetus. There is a tube which is known as placenta. And placenta, it will pass to the fetus, and in fetus there is a receptors on placenta, fetus side. This is known as FCRN. This occurs around third month of gestation. At third month of gestation, the immune system of mother is starting transfer to the fetus. IgG, immunoglobulin G. There are 5 types of immunoglobulin: IgG, IgD, IgE, IgM, IgA. So immunoglobulin G is the only antibodies isotopes that can pass through the placenta. So placenta doesn't allow anything to pass from mother to fetus except immunoglobulin G. Passive immunity is also provided through the transfer of IgA antibodies found in the breast milk. When the child, after the birth, when he takes milk from her mother, then immunoglobulin A will transfer from mother to child. That are transferred to the gut of the infant. It will enter into the intestinal gut of the infants, protecting against bacterial infection until the newborn can synthesize its own antibodies. So mother milk will provide protection to the children against the infections until and unless the newborn himself is not able to produce their own antibodies. Now we talk about artificial acquired immunity. Artificial acquired immunity is a short-term immunization induced by the transfer of antibiotics, which can be administered in several forms as human or animal blood plasma. As pooled human immunoglobulin for intravenous or intramuscular use and in the form of the monoclonal antibodies. This is artificial acquired passive immunity. It's a short-term immunization induced by the transfer of antibodies. Just take antibiotic from a patient and put it into the another patient. That patient who has already cured, which can be administered in several forms, as a human to human, or from animal blood plasma. You can produce antibodies and give it to the, for example, in horse. As pooled human immunoglobulin for intravenous or intramuscular use and in the form of the monoclonal antibodies. Passive transfer is used prophylactically in the case of immunodeficient diseases such as hypogammaglobulinemia. It is also used in the transfer of several types of acute infections and to treat poisoning. We call it passive transfer. Immunity derived from the passive immunization lasts for only a short period of time, and this is also a potential risk for hypersensitivity reaction and serum sickness, especially from the gamma globulin of non-human origin. Artificial induction of the passive immunity has used for over a century to treat the infectious diseases, and prior to the advent of antibiotics was often the only specific treatment for certain infection. Immunoglobulin therapy continue to be first-line therapy in the treatment of severe respiratory disease, as in COVID. If we start in severe respiratory diseases caused by the COVID-19, we can start the therapy from the immunoglobulin, IgG. Until the 1930s, even after sulfonamide, sulfur drugs, lot antibiotics were introduced. In 1993, there was only sulfonamides, lot antibiotics were introduced. At that time, only sulfa drugs were introduced. So, immunoglobulin therapy was the choice at that time also. Passive transfer for cell-mediated immunity. Passive or adaptive transfer of cell-mediated immunity is conferred by the transfer of sensitized or activated T cell from one individual to another. Passive transfer of cell-mediated immunity means one patient who is already infected and his body produces the T cells or the killer cells. These cells can be taken from the blood of that patient who has cured and put it into the infected patient. And we call it passive transfer of cell-mediated immunity. T cell, because we are talking about the T cell of it. It is rarely used in the human because it requires histocompatible matched donors, which are often difficult to find. So we rarely use this technique. In unmatched donor, this type of transfers carries serious. If you don't match the blood group, then there is a severe reactions, risk of graft versus host disease. It has, however, been used to treat certain diseases, including some type of the cancer and immunodeficiency diseases like SLE, systemic lupus erythematosus, or cancer. This type of transfer differ from a bone marrow transplantation in which undifferentiated hematopoietic stem cells are transferred. So we transfer in bone marrow in cancer when we remove the whole bone marrow of a person. What is bone marrow? It is present in the long bones. What is the function of that? It produces WBCs, RBCs, and platelets. And this is very important. The bone marrow should be healthy. If there is some disease in the bone marrow, we call it bone marrow cancer also. And we have to transfer hematopoietic stem cells, basic cells. Active immunity, when B cells and T cells are activated by a pathogens, some bacteria, memory B cells and T cells develop. When we get infected and the body, B cells and T cells stimulated or activated, then they were saved in our memory. Memory B cell and T cells develop, and the primary immune response results. Throughout the lifetime of an animal, these memory cells will remember each specific pathogen encountered and are able to mount a strong secondary response if the pathogen is detected again. So there is a chances if these T cells and B cells, when produced as a reaction to overcome the pathogen causing infection, then they will go into the memories of these T cells and B cells, and they remain over there. And if in life, anytime, infection will happen, then these T cells and B cells, they come out from those memories and fight against those pathogens which causes infection in initial stage and produces T cells and B cells in the body. This type of immunity is the primary and secondary response was first described in 1921 by the English immunologist Alexander Glennie, although the mechanism involved was not discovered until later. This type of immunity, means active immunity, is both active and adaptive because the body immune system prepares itself for future challenges. Active immunity often involves both the cell-mediated and humoral aspect of the immunity as well as input from the innate immune system. Naturally acquired active immunity. Natural acquired active immunity occurs when a person is exposed to a live pathogen and develop a primary immune response, which leads to immunological memory, as I mentioned before. Same thing. The type of immunity is natural because it is not induced by the deliberate exposure. Natural means you have adopted from your surrounding, from your environment. You are not putting those organisms through the vaccine in your body. So it's a natural. Many disorder of immune system function can affect the formation of active immunity such as the immunodeficiency, both acquired and congenital. Acquired means from their environment, congenital means from your mother, and immunosuppression. Artificial acquired active immunity may artificial induction of the immunity and vaccination. Artificial acquired means induced immunity means you put into your body or vaccination. Artificial acquired active immunity can be induced by a vaccine, a substance that contains antigens. A vaccine stimulates the primary response against the antigen without causing symptoms of the disease. Means because those vaccines which are produced from those pathogens, but you remove toxic material from the pathogen or you kill those microorganisms. But they, the body when receive these organisms which are not alive, so body will produce antibodies against those already inactive organisms which are in the shape of vaccines. In the fight against them, and in that way the antibodies will produce in the body and give you the immunity for the future. The term vaccination was coined by Richard Dunning, a colleague. Term vaccination was coined by the Richard Dunning, a colleague of Edward Jenner, and adopted by the Louis Pasteur for his pioneering work in vaccination. The method Pasteur used entailed treating the infection agent for those diseases so they lost the ability to cause serious disease. Pasteur adopted the name vaccine as a generic term in honor of the Jenner discovery, which Pasteur work built upon. Temporary induced immunity, artificially acquired immunity, passive immunity. Artificially acquired passive immunity is a short-term immunization induced by the transfer of antibodies, which can be administered in several forms as human or animal blood plasma, as pooled human immunoglobulin for intravenous or intramuscular, and in the form of monoclonal antibody. Passive transfer is used prophylaxis in the case of immunodeficiency diseases such as the hypoglobulinemia, immune deficiency syndromes. There are a lot of such type of diseases. It is also used in the treatment of several types of acute infection and to treat the poisoning. Immunity derived from the passive immunity immunization lasts for only a short period of time, and there is also a potential risk for hypersensitivity reaction. Means most of the patient or some of the patient they get reaction with these system of immunization and serum sickness, especially from the GABA globulin of non-human organism. If we are preparing immunoglobulin in horse and we inject in the human being those serum opting from the horse in the shape of vaccine, there can be a serum sickness or some reaction, hypersensitivity reactions. The artificial induction of the passive immunity has been used for over a century to treat infectious diseases, and prior to the advent of antibiotics was often the only specific treatment for certain infection. Means where there is no result of antibiotic, then you go for the passive immunity system to overcome those infections. Immunoglobulin, their therapy continue to be first line therapy in the treatment of severe respiratory diseases until 1930s. Now we talk about the passive transfer of cell-mediated immunity or passive or adaptive transfer of the cell-mediated immunity is conferred by the transfer of sensitized or activated T cells from one individual into the another. It is rarely used in a human being. It required histocompatibility matched donors. Means first you match the blood donor with the receptor receiver. In unmatched donor, the type of the transfer carries severe risk of the graft versus host disease. It has, however, been used to treat certain diseases, including some type of cancer. This type of transfer differs from bone marrow transplantation, in which hematopoietic stem cells are transferred. In 1817, Bavaria became the first group to require that their military recruits are vaccinated against smallpox, and the spread of smallpox was linked to the combat. Subsequently, the practice of the vaccination would increase with the spread of war. As the war increases in 1817, there are a lot of injuries, and then they get the infection from those places which were most are the unhygienic conditions they were fighting. So they produced at that time the vaccination against the smallpox have been introduced in the market. There are four types of traditional vaccines. Inactivated vaccines are composed of the microorganisms that have been killed with the chemical and or heat and are no longer infectious. So how you prepare the vaccines? You first take the infectious pathogens, then you kill those organisms, and then these organisms were processed, and then they become they are introduced into the body of a patient. Examples are vaccines against the flu. There are a lot of vaccines against the flu, cholera, plague, and hepatitis A. Most vaccines of this type are likely to require booster shots. Live attenuated vaccines are composed of microorganisms that have been cultivated under conditions which disable their ability to introduce disease. These responses are more durable and do not generally require booster dose. Example includes yellow fever, measles, rubella, and mumps. Toxides are inactivated toxic compounds from the microorganism in case where these rather than the microorganisms itself cause illness. Used prior to an encounter with the toxins of the microorganism. Example of toxide-based vaccines include tetanus and diphtheria. It's a very common tetanus. Diphtheria is not very common, but tetanus is very common, where you use such type of uh, metallic instruments in surgery, which are not properly sterilized or they have got rust. So it happened. Tetanus. Subunit vaccines are composed of small fragments of the diseases causing organism. Subunit vaccine. A characteristic example is the subunit vaccine against the hepatitis B virus. Most vaccines are given by hypodermic or intramuscular injection, means under the skin or in the muscles, as they are not absorbed reliably through the gut. It will give oral, it is not absorbed in the body. Like live attenuated polio and some typhoid and cholera vaccines are given orally in order to produce immunity based in the bowel. So up till now we have talked about the immunity system. Now we talk about allergies. Allergies are very common in increasing in Australia and New Zealand, affecting around 1 in 3 people at some time in their lives. There are many different causes of allergy, and symptoms vary from mild to potentially life-threatening. Allergy is also one of the major factor associated with the cause and persistence of the asthma. Fortunately, effective prevention or the treatment options are available for most allergies. Allergy occurs when a person's immune system reacts to the substance in the environment that are harmful for most people. These substances are known as the allergens, like pollens, mites in your carpet and car, like allergens in food, and are found in the host dust mites, pets, जानवरों animals, pollens from the plant, insects, molds, foods, and some medicines. Atopy is the genetic inherited tendency to develop allergy. People with atopy are said to be atopic. When atopic people are exposed to the allergens, they can develop an immune reaction that lead to allergic inflammation, redness, and swelling. This can cause symptoms in the nose and eyes. Hay fever, allergic rhinitis means running nose. Conjunctivitis means the conjunctiva of the eye is inflamed. Skin, if you will get skin allergy, then there is an eczema or hives, urticaria we call it. If there is an allergy in the lungs, we call it asthma. A substance that is an allergen for one person may not be for the another. Every react differently. Everyone react differently. So if somebody is allergy with pollens, so it is not necessary that all the member of the family are allergic with the pollens. If one is allergic with the egg, is not necessary every member of the family is allergic to the egg. What happens when you have an allergy reaction? When a person who is allergic to the particular allergens come into the contact, when an allergic reaction occurs, this begins when the allergens, for example, pollens enter the body, transferring an antibody response. The antibodies attach themselves to the specific cell called the mast cell, which release the histamine. When the pollen comes in contact with the antibodies, the mast cells respond to release certain substances, one of which is called the histamine, as I have mentioned. When the release of histamine is due to the allergens, the resulting swelling and inflammation is extremely irritating and uncomfortable. The most common cause of allergic reaction in Australia are dust mites, pollens, foods such as the peanut, मूंगफली, cow milk, soya, seafood, and eggs. Cats and other furry or hairy animals such as the dogs, horses, rabbits, and guinea pigs. Insects, stings, molds, medicines. Similar reaction can occur to some chemicals and food additives. However, if they do not involve the immune system, they are known as the adverse reaction rather than allergy. So this is all about for today. If you have any query, you can call me or you can contact me, so I can give you a reply. All right. So now